of putting it out there really helps us to be clearer on, well, a couple of things. One, actually noticing when the change happens. You know, sometimes things change and we don't even notice. Hi, Brenda, coming on. And also often to see the correlations between the other people who are joining us here today. So there's always a unique configuration of people who turn up for our gatherings, and there's always an interesting crossover and interesting support of people and their things that they're working on. So that's really why I'm asking you to, you know, share your challenge or your goal, rather than me saying, oh, well, you have this, you should do that. So I'm not going to be telling you what to do. I'm not going to be diagnosing or trying to fix you in any way, shape, or form. But instead, what we will be doing is I will be tuning into you and tuning into the energy of our group through my connection to the everythingness. So we are connected through an infinite web, an infinite intelligence that connects all things. It is known under many different names. One I like to use is the vacuum, or the kind of space-time connection. So there is science to show that every electron in the universe is connected to every other electron, and that there is this like constant communication that is keeping everything configured, you know, including our physical bodies. So if you think about what you are, you're made up of a whole lot of stuff, lots of little pieces that all need to work together to create you, to create the whole. And so the important thing about, you know, finding you or finding health, hey Alison, about reaching your goals isn't so much about finding the problem areas as it is more about connecting all the pieces, connecting all of the parts of me communicating. Are they all working together as a team? And then how are we connected to each other? So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be connecting to that, or connecting to you, connecting to our group through my connection to that, and basically navigating through to see what are we ready to improve. And it will always be something to do with communication. So some kind of improvement in our body, mind, consciousness, movement, communication. Oh, that's okay, Brenda. So no webcam, but very connected. Awesome. And if your body-mind is ready to improve whatever is coming up, it will do so. And because I'm connecting and I've been practicing my kind of intuition and ability to connect to people through this space, it's usually everyone's like, yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about where I'm at. So go ahead and type in your status quo while I have a drink of water. So just notice yourself, you know, is there anything in your body that's saying hello to you today? Is there anything in your mind that's been bugging you? And where are you feeling you need more superpowers? And we'll be talking a little bit more about those. So Becky says, Becky's not feeling too well. Resting in bed. Okay. So feeling exhausted. Okay. So just take a moment and type in there. So this also helps me connect to you even more clearly. So Lindsay says, I'm ready to shift away from old patterns of holding stress and tension. and move towards healthy flow of energy and releasing. Cool. I always hold tension in my shoulders, neck, and jaw, resulting in chronic headaches. Good observation. Knowing that is you're already a bunch of steps ahead of many people. Like most of us definitely hold tension there. So we will definitely be working on releasing some of that. So really just check into and see how does it feel right here and now. So Brenda, I'm well but feeling constipated and neuropathy in feet. Tell me what that is, Brenda. Neuropathy. Tight pelvic floor. Okay. A shame you weren't here on you weren't here on Thursday, right? And we did a bunch with the pelvis. We'll see. Maybe that will come up today. Danica, stress held in my shoulders and neck too. Oh, numbness and tingling. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Come on, a couple more people. I see on here. So the great thing about living life is there's always something that can improve. And it doesn't always have to be a a pain and a challenge. It can be just like, I'm ready to go to the next level in. But until we're like fully flying in bliss, we've always got something. So Emily says, shoulders have been asking for attention. So we've got the shoulder theme today. I'm ready to make more money and work with more people. Yay. Good. Alison, I'm feeling excited for my next big step, but it also feels overwhelming. My neck has been feeling tight and stiff these past few days. Okay, so we've got neck and shoulders. Carla, I tried to connect to myself today. The real deep me, I know it's there, but sometimes it's hard to find it. I totally understand, Carla. And that real deep us, unfortunately, does get covered up with stuff, with tensions, with memories, with emotions, with all of these challenges and stresses that have built up throughout our lifetime. And so, it's unfortunately not always or not usually as simple as just saying, well, just connect, because, we do have all of the other stuff, and so it can be hard to find our way through that to get to that deeper place. So that's often why you need somebody else who can step out of your perspective, because when you're in it, you can only see through your own patterns. You're seeing through your perspective, and the thing that needs to shift is the perspective. So it's a tricky thing. So that's why we need other people to be able to help and say, well, have you seen it from this angle? Have you looked at it this way? And getting that deeper wisdom to be able to untie those patterns for you. Okay, so a couple more of these, and then we're going to get going. So Nancy says, need less tension and anxiety and better energy flow. Cool, so I think pretty much we've got consensus there. We would all like less tension, less anxiety, better energy flow, more trust maybe, and also neck and shoulders. Becky, I'm also finding myself crying a lot lately for unknown reasons. Okay, so I'm not going to talk to that quite yet, but that might come up a bit later. Okay, so we're going to start straight away with our neck and shoulders. So, okay, so we're going to start with a very simple and release the diaphragm. We got lots on the menu today. We'll see what we get through. But remember, everything's connected. Everything is connected. Can I say that one more time? Everything is connected. So you release anything, anywhere, it will improve everything, everywhere. And the more pieces you improve, in as many different locations and perspectives as possible, the more everything as a whole improves. So it's a process. You guys know that though, right? Process, process. All right, so we're going to start with our shoulders. So what you're going to do is a simple movement of literally just lifting your shoulders up and then down. And you're just going to notice, how do they feel? So not how did they feel 2 minutes ago when I asked you, but how do they feel right now? And now, and now, and now, and now. How do your shoulders feel in this moment? So you're just lifting and lowering your shoulders. How do they feel? Okay. So how was that? Amazing, terrible, achy, tight, boring, lame. What on earth are we doing? Nice. I remember when I was at school and there was this book called Not Nice. It was like, you're not allowed to use the word nice, but I'll let you use the word nice. Nice, broad and relaxed. They feel congested. How else? Come on, give it some words, because giving the words to your experience is the first step to be able to shift your experience and then be able to acknowledge when the experience has changed. Sometimes if it changes and you don't know it's changed, it's very easy to keep thinking it's still bad. Sometimes it's like, oh, actually it's different. So we've also got shivery, brittle maybe, tense. Okay, good. So wherever you are at is where you are supposed to be right now. Good. So now, how would you like your shoulders to be? How would you like them to be? And let's just say, just hypothetically speaking, that your shoulders are a reflection of you. Whoa, wind. Can you hear that wind? Hopefully it's not. Tell me if it's making wind on the microphone. Ooh. Obviously the trees agree with that. So let's just say your shoulders are a reflection of you, the kind of person you are. So how would you like them to be? So we've got relaxed and flowing. So Becky would like to be relaxed and flowing. She'd like to be a relaxed, flowing person, I'm guessing. Soft as butter, relaxed, fluid, nice, open, smooth and fluid, relaxed and strong, always consciously trusting and happy. Oh, cool. Emily would like happy shoulders. Anyone else like happy shoulders? Anyone think your shoulders can be happy? Is it possible? Well, Emily obviously yes. Oh, yes. Okay, so let's just try this, shall we? Okay, so you're going to lift and lower your shoulders again. And you're just going to say to yourself, I have happy shoulders. They're happy. And even if they're feeling a little, I don't know, sticky in places, they're still happy. Can you have happy stuckness? Ah, there's a question. Okay, so you're going to lift your shoulders up and you're going to say, I have happy shoulders. So can you imagine your shoulders are happy? Can you imagine your shoulders are happy? I'm sorry about your connection trouble there, Carol. I'll imagine you connecting. So can you imagine I have happy shoulders? My shoulders are happy. My shoulders are happy. So maybe they've got two big smiling faces on them. Is one happier than the other? Or are they happy together? Can your shoulders be happy? And one more time, let's just imagine happy shoulders happily going up and happily shoulders happily going down. So, did that change your experience? Did that do anything for you? Becky is happy together. Wonderful. Emily says yes, they are happier. And if they're not, feel free. You're not expected to, you know, always say what you think I want you to say, but be honest, because this is about you, not about me. So we got a few happier shoulders. Yes, they feel happy. Also bringing your attention to some other issues. Okay, they feel a little less rigidity. Okay, good. They are happier, but I notice more tension in my neck now. Starting to relax. Okay, good. So now we're going to do the same movement, and we're going, yeah, you're going to just listen to my words and imagine my words as you lift and lower your shoulders. Okay, so shoulders going up and down. And maybe you're thinking, I don't know, I think maybe my shoulders could be happy, but maybe they're grumpy. You know, when I woke up this morning, my shoulders have felt really sticky and tight and ow, I think I have a pain. And the more I lift my shoulders up and down, the more actually I'm noticing that my chest is really stuck. And what are we doing? I thought I was going to get some superpowers by the end of this hour, and instead I'm just getting more tension. Ow. Okay, so just shake that out and tell me or notice what happened when you thought those things, or even just listen to my words saying those. So did you feel a tangible change in your physical body? Becky says, ha 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 ha. I don't like to think that way because they hurt. It created more tension. It felt more resistance. Good observations. Yes, exactly. So ting, 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 ting. Write a note in your mental notebook. Your body is responding in every moment to you. And there are always two experiences going on. There's the one that you're in, and then there's the one in your head. And fortunately or unfortunately, the one we get is the one that's in our head, which is really exciting and empowering when we have the tools to shift it. And it can also be like, oh my goodness, kind of scary at the same time, because suddenly everything we think is affecting us. So this is a long, you know, this could be a very long seminar. You know, it's not always as simple as, you know, change your thoughts, because, you know, that gets us into the discussion of where do our thoughts come from. But you do have influence over them. And there are many ways where you can actually start to root out those deeper beliefs that create those thoughts that don't support you. So we're just going to, you know, we're going to be scratching the surface of this today. But even that, even just a momentary notice of, oh wow, I just said I have more tension right now. Is that supporting me? Can I change it? Yes. That can change your life. And it can change your life again and again and again every time you hear it. Every time I hear it or say it, I'm like, oh yeah, Laura, like, remember, remember, we still forget. And it's a process, and it's a process of moving towards that place. So now we're going to dive even deeper and discover some even more happiness and joy and fluidity and these things that we want for our shoulders and for us. So you're going to take your right hand, well, or you can mirror me. I think that might, does that look like right? Or that might look like left. Take one of your hands and place it on the opposite shoulder and just give it a squeeze and just notice, how does that shoulder feel under your hand? So we felt it in movement, and we felt how we were able to improve the movement simply by thinking happy. And there's many, many things that we can do and different ways we can use imagery to improve that. So now we're getting some tactile feedback. So right now your fingers are touching your shoulder. Your fingers are getting information to your brain about the state of your shoulder. And then you, or a part that you perceive as you, is then judging that, thinking, do I like it? Is it good enough? Am I tense? Am I not tense? And kind of labeling that as good, bad, or ugly. So, first thing is to notice, okay, where am I? How does this shoulder feel right now? Then we need to know, how do I not make my shoulder relax? Because, hey, if you could make your shoulder relax, like, wouldn't it be relaxed now? Yeah, probably, right? But instead, how can I allow my shoulder to give me the feeling of relaxation? So, there are an infinite number of ways that we can do that. So this is a Franklin method based kind of intro that we've done so far. And within the Franklin method, there are many different ways that we can basically unleash these feelings, experiences that we want. One way, which is very powerful and very profound, is to access clarity around our anatomy. So what is in here? Because if you are experiencing tight shoulders and you want shoulders to be relaxed, if you can understand how your body creates relaxed shoulders, then you're going to be able to support your body more to give you that more consistently. So, you know what? I'm going to take my sweater off so you can see my shoulders better. So you have a clavicle in here. So just find your clavicle. And Emily, do you mind getting the clavicle and the scapula and the humerus? You want maybe a feather boa or something soft. So just right now, just notice, okay, I have a clavicle in here. So take a look at it. Look at the shape of it. Notice it's like a wave. It's not flat. And then can you feel that there's a joint between the clavicle and, anyone know what this bone is in the middle? This is your sternum, right? So put one hand on the clavicle and one hand on the sternum, and then lift your shoulder up like we just did. Can you see what's happened to my clavicle? It's gone whoop, and then it goes down. Can you see that? It goes up and it goes down. So if I can imagine in here, in fact, I just happen to have a clavicle and a sternum here. And here's my clavicle going up, and here's my clavicle going down. You can imagine that this joint between the clavicle and the sternum is moving. So can you imagine the movement there? So clavicle, sternum. So lift up your clavicle. Can you imagine the movement in this joint? So what you need to do is you need to zoom in. So this is where we start to practice our superpowers, because part of that is being able to zoom your perspective, zoom your mind into different sizes, into different resolutions, into different areas, into different perspectives. This is a practice. So you're going to imagine you can zoom in to the clavicle and the sternum, and can I see the movement between the clavicle and the sternum? Thank you, Emily. That is the right one. I've got one. So here is the, and can you pass me sternum as well. So here is your clavicle. Thank you. Here is the sternum. There we go. So can you see that movement there? Oh. So now if you're spacing out, thinking about other things, you're going to get like a slither of the effect. If you can really stay focused on this as much as you can, obviously it's a practice, keep bringing yourself back to, can I just see this? Even if your mind doesn't understand it or why we're doing it, just see if you can stay with it, because I promise you, if you do, there is gold and light and amazingness beyond your imagination. So just stay with it. So can I imagine as that clavicle goes up, the movement there in that joint? Okay, so now you're going to take your clavicle forwards, and then backwards. And again, you're going to imagine, if you can, the movement between the clavicle and the sternum. Forwards and backwards, and forwards and backwards. And forwards and back, and forwards and back, and forwards and back. Now you're going to take it forwards and up and all the way back. So you're circling this clavicle. And if you've done this before, good. And every time you do it, remember it's brand new. So what can you see right now? Is it moving smoothly? Is it moving freely? Can you imagine it moving freely? So now let's go in the other direction. So can you imagine it moving freely, effortlessly, easily? Can you breathe while you're doing this? And so here I have a nice feather boa. So if you can imagine, and soon I feel the technology is going to be there where you'll be able to touch things through the internet. But for now, you have to use your imagination, and it might just happen that way anyway. So you can imagine you're going to touch this nice soft feather boa. Okay, imagine that. And then you're going to imagine that you're going to wrap that nice soft feather boa around your clavicle. And so when you're moving it, you're literally just moving over this beautiful, soft, looks a bit like a pussy cat. So keep breathing. So Carla, she says she's noticing some pain. So come back to the softness. So can you just imagine the softness? Just stay with that right now. Just imagine that softness. Okay. And now you're just going to kind of brush down your shoulder. So you're going to brush. Imagine you can just brush out any of the spiky tension that you had enough of. And just brush under your clavicle, and brush over your clavicle, and brush down the arm, and just give that arm a good shake. So like you can just shake out all the dust. Shake, shake, shake. Oh, that feels good. And relax. And just notice how that feels. So I can see I look a little lopsided now. So now just notice, how does this shoulder feel compared to the other side? So notice it in standing, notice it in moving, maybe move the arm around, notice how does that arm feel compared to the other arm? Which one is more flexible? Which one's more fluid? Which one's happier? Which one's more enjoyable? So can you describe the two? Tell me the difference between the two. Notice, Brenda, also how is your breath on the side that we practiced that little bit? compared to the other side. Does it feel smooth like butter and relaxed and fluid? So Carla says, it really is a lot more flexible. Good. Danica says more breath. Brenda says bigger. Emily, the one practiced is way different, more fluid, light, mobile, flexible, easy breathing. Everything has changed, even posture. Becky says, wow, my right, the one we just practiced, is so much more fluid. Carol, lighter, more fluffy. So, wasn't that fast? Wasn't that fast and fun and easy? It's not always easy to stay with the image we want, though, which is the funny thing. For some reason, we like to focus on the bits that aren't working. And just that little bit of actually accessing what is actually in here. And there's so much more we can do. There's so much more we can do. And when you add it all together, it's like, oh, wow, it's just the bliss in having a body. Which is really nice because you take your body everywhere you go, so therefore you can connect to that feeling all the time. So now I have another question for you, and that is, which side of you feels like it could flow with life's experiences more happily? Which one would be like, yeah, you know what, I might have a challenge today, but you know, I think it's going to be okay. Like, whatever it is, I'm going to be able to go with it. So the side you practice, right? And notice, how does it feel in the other side? You notice the, like, tension and the, like, rigidity and I'm going to fight through this experience. So if our physical body is holding a certain experience, no matter what we change out there, we're still going to be experiencing the resistance. And we like to find these things in our lives that are like stressful and we have resistance to them, but it's really because we're experiencing it in our physical body first. So rather than trying to run around and fix everything that's out there, if we can actually learn to go in here, how can I shift my physicality to an experience I want to be experiencing, and then everything out there suddenly is different. It's really cool. And then that's totally when you feel like you have superpowers, because you can change the out there by going in here. And again, there's a lot more I could say about that. Yeah, Brenda says, feels like I might not be tough enough to deal with what comes at me. Emotional stuff. So that's the side that we didn't practice, right? It's like it doesn't have it. So let's do the other side so that we can be fully released in this part of our shoulders. Explain, Brenda. Give me some more words so I can talk to you. Oh, I see. The side that we practiced that was more relaxed, it feels vulnerable. Ah, okay. Interesting. Okay, good. So stay with that, and I feel like we're going to come back to that in a moment after we do the other side. So allow that feeling to exist right now. Okay? So we're going to go to the other side. So again, just get some feedback on your shoulder. So your hand touching your shoulder. And yeah, exactly. You know, when we have tension in our muscles, it does create a feeling of protection. And you know, when we start to release that, it's a whole other concept of strength and existence that we find. So yeah, there's definitely stuff comes up to process around that. So we will be getting to that in a moment. So find your clavicle on the right, and you're going to give it a squeeze this side. So just gently squeeze your clavicle. Now it might be a tender. It probably is going to be a little tender, and that's okay. That just means there's more fluidity to find in there. So stay with your breath. So I make sure that you're breathing. And you're just going to gently move the clavicle around, and you're just going to gently squeeze it on this side. So you're going to squeeze and move the clavicle. Squeezing and moving it. And you can, I mean, I've been practicing this for a bunch of years now. Like, I can pretty much get my fingers right around my clavicle. It gets better and better and freer and freer. In fact, and Becky, oh no, Claudia said, all the clavicles like me. Keep practicing, you know, all these things. It's amazing what your body will give you. My clavicles weren't always this free, I can promise you that. So then we're going to go to that joint between the clavicle and the sternum. There's your sternum. And I'm just going to this one here for now. So there's your joint between your clavicle and your sternum. And guess what? It's called the clavicular sternum joint, or the sternoclavicular joint. Basically sternum and clavicle. And we're going to lift and lower. So you're going to lift and lower your clavicle, and remember, can you zoom in to that joint? Can you imagine in big zoomed in your clavicle moving on your sternum? Yes. Can you imagine that? So zoom in. Can I imagine my clavicle on my sternum? Can I stay present with me, with my clavicle and my sternum? So whatever anyone says, you do have a clavicle, you do have a sternum, it is moving, and you can be with that. So there's no opinions here, it's just simple physics. Can I be with that? Can I imagine it? And now you're going to take the clavicle forwards. So you can imagine literally like this end comes forwards. And so then you've got that movement in that joint there. And back. So can you get this joint moving? Can you imagine that moving? And often it isn't moving. Most people, it isn't moving very well, but it should and it can. So can you keep breathing with it while you're moving it? So if it hasn't been moving for a while and now you're starting to move it, it might feel a little different. You might experience some emotion or some moving energy. Just keep breathing. Your body will only do what it's ready to do. It really is intelligent like that. It's not going to dump you in something you can't handle. So just kind of say, whatever you're ready for, body, thank you. And now let's do some circles, circling it around. Circling it around so you can imagine that it's, I just very much got the image of like it dipping in and out of a lake. So it's dipping down into the lake, it's going through the water, and as it comes up I can hear the water going, dripping off it, and it's washing my clavicle as it's doing that. So if it had any goo-goo on it, now it's being washed, and now I'm going to go the other way. So I can feel the movement between the clavicle and the sternum. I can imagine my clavicle being washed in this lake, or maybe if you don't like a lake, you could maybe wash it in the ocean, whatever works for you. And then if you want to try the soft image again, so remember the feeling of softness. Softness. When was the last time you stroked a very soft cat? That's not going to work if you're allergic to cats. But something that is soft. I don't know, maybe you had a bad experience with feather boas when you were a kid, in which case you don't want to think of one of those. But if you like them, if that works for you, then use the image of feather boa. So something that's soft. So this is about finding what works for you. What creates that feeling of softness for me that my brain can recreate it. So my brain is recreating the tactile memory of softness, and I'm applying it to my shoulder. And then your shoulder is hearing that message, oh, I need to be soft, and then it is finding a way to give you that. So you're not making it, you're allowing it. And then you're just going to kind of brush over the clavicle on the top and underneath. So just brush if there's still any kind of tenderness there. Just imagine you can brush it out, brush around the back, brush down your arm, brushing it all away, and give it a nice shake, shake, shake. Maybe shake both arms, shake them, shake them. Good. So now just take a moment and notice. Okay, so you're going to take both hands, you're going to place them in your armpits. So put your hands in your armpits, and you're just going to, again, going to lift our shoulders and you're just going to squeeze your armpits a little, squeeze. And then slowly you're going to melt them down, and you're going to relax the squeeze in your hands. So let's start at the front of the armpit. So you're actually going to hold this muscle at the front, which is the pec. So you're going to lift and squeeze. Breathe, and slowly melting down, melting down, melting down, melting down, melting down, melting down. So I'm using the image of melt there. So somebody I think said like melting butter they wanted their shoulders to be. So if you like butter, and you can imagine what it's like when you have a big blob of butter melting in a pan, you could imagine that. So shoulders are going up, and you're going to imagine that melting butter, melting butter, melting butter, melting butter. Now you're going to take your hands to the back part of the armpit. So this is like the serratus muscle. And same thing, you're going to lift and squeeze best you can if you can reach there. And slowly down. I know it's a little, the arms get in the way a little bit. And lift and squeeze, and can you imagine it melting, 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 melting. And one more time, lift shoulders up and squeeze. So can you see the image of melt? And breathing, and just imagine it melting down, then just drop your arms. And just take a moment to just notice, see if you can stay in your experience. So before you jump into your head to think about it or put words to it, just can I just feel this right now? So we're actually going to, I'm going to do a couple of links, i.e. kind of connecting in through this web to see some of the deeper consciousness things that are ready to change. So you're just going to kind of stay in this experience. Okay, so what's coming up as a priority for all of us is emotional release of grief from the respiratory system. So we all experience emotions. If we're able to process them fully, we're able to fully let them go, but usually there's too much or we can't process them fully. For whatever reason, they can get stored in the body. And when they are ready to leave, this is very exciting because it means that, well, one, it takes energy to store emotion in the body. So every time our body's ready to let some go, means we're going to get some more energy. And also, often we experience emotions, actually, like was it Claudia or Becky said, you know, I've been just crying recently with no reason. So sometimes when we have emotions stored, it could be from when you were 5 years old, and you know, something happened and your cat died and you never got to grieve, and you just stored the emotion in your body because maybe your dad said, don't cry, it's just a cat. And so that emotion never got a chance to be processed. Hello there. Hey. And so we can still have it stored in our body now, and then it can come up and we can suddenly feel overwhelmed with grief. And we're like, why? There's no reason for me to feel grief right now, but it's because maybe we saw a cat on the street and it just reminded us on some level of consciousness about the, you know, grief from our cat from when we were 5 years old, and then suddenly we feel grief. So when you experience emotion, it's very rarely that it's something in the here and now. You know, when it's an overwhelming emotion, usually it's connected to something else. And so the more we can clear out those something else's, the less we need to experience the emotion in the here and now. And then ultimately, we can experience emotion in a supportive, like in a supportive moment by moment way, where you can feel it, experience it, it can get its job done. You know, we need to grieve when our cat dies. It's a part of life. We sometimes need some anger to get things moving. We sometimes need some fear so we don't think we can jump out of the window. You know, emotions have their place, but when they are overwhelming and they're not connected to here and now, then they're just like, it's just messy and not so fun. So what's coming up is that we're all ready to let go of some grief from the respiratory system. So actually, grief is naturally stored in the lungs, because, you know, if you think about it, when we breathe, when we cry, like, that's how we process grief. So if for whatever reason you were like, no, I mustn't feel it, you know, it can just get stored there because it didn't get to move. So now we're going to say to our bodies, we're going to get our body's wisdom by tapping on our head and tapping on our heart to say, okay, go take a look. If there's any grief in the respiratory system that you are ready to let go of right now, go do it. Okay, so let's put one hand on our chest, and then with the other hand you're going to tap, and you're going to breathe. You're going to tap over your head, and then you're going to tap over your heart. And now you're just going to take the other hand and just going to imagine that you can scoop out if there's any grief there. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can feel it, maybe it has a color, maybe it looks sludgy, maybe it looks tender, maybe it looks however it looks for you. Just imagine you can scoop it out, and we're going to take it down to the diaphragm. So kind of like the base of your ribs here. And you're going to breathe still, and you're tapping still. And tapping, and again, you're just scooping it out, taking it down to the diaphragm. Keep breathing. And scooping, and breathing. And your lungs go all the way up, right up behind your clavicles. So it makes sense that we're probably ready to clean shop a little bit after we just liberated them. So you're going to breathe, you're going to scoot. I don't know about you, but I can feel that in my belly. Okay, so now we're going to make sure that our diaphragms are talking to our intestines. So your body processes emotion much like it digests food, in that it needs to be digested and processed and you can like flush it away. So we need to make sure the body remembers how to do that. That's why sometimes we get emotions stored, and you know it's actually because the body doesn't know how to take it down and out. You know, it's all very well as being like embracing the fear or the anger or whatever, and it's up here and out there, and we can talk about it and think about it, but like if your body physically can't process it, it's not going to leave you. It's just going to go out there and then come back in here, because it has to be stored somewhere, because it's an energy, it's an unresolved energy. So when it goes down and out, it gets resolved, processed, digested, and then we can let it go. So you're going to put one hand on your diaphragm and one hand just underneath on your belly for your intestines. And you're going to breathe, and you're going to imagine any grief that moved down through your lungs and go through your diaphragm. When you're breathing, that diaphragm is moving, processing, and you can tap again, head and heart, so that your body's wisdom to process that grief, moving down. And again, tapping. And tapping. Okay. So I'm getting that there's something else. We're technically nearing the end of our hour. I should make these at least an hour and 15 because they always run over a little bit. So is everyone good to just stay for a few more minutes, because it's important that we can fully finish this. I don't need to leave half in your experience here. Okay, so we have another link. It's a permission. So permission is when we're ready to go to the next stage in healing, growing, connecting, something we're usually working on, and there's a part of us that thinks, ah, no, I'm not. So the phrase that's coming up is, I accept that my spirit can flow amidst the challenges. I accept that my spirit can flow amidst the challenges. And this is all linking to the diaphragm with a definition of ups and downs. So the diaphragm does go up and down, as does life. So breathing is like a consistent. It's not like we relate more to the up than to the down, or one's better than the other. So ultimately, life can be more like that. We're able just to be in the experience, and yes, it can get up and up and up and up in more expanded experiences, but there's always ups and downs wherever you're at, whoever you are. And so when we can actually find a more consistent connection to that trust in the experience, the downs don't need to feel so down, because there's a trust there. It's like, okay, well, part of the down is the up and the up is the down, and it's like, okay. And then there's a parallel, so something else to this. Okay, so it's actually coming up an energy dynamic with people, and it's for you and your connection to like friends, colleagues, family members, people in your world who what is it? Okay, so it's actually like dissolving an aspect of like other people's judgments on you, on where you're at, on where your life is. So like if you were to say to somebody, you know, I'm having a hard day today, and they'd be like, oh my God, that's terrible. Or I'm getting married. Oh my God, that's an amazing thing. Like, it's very easy for people to put these like judgments of your experiences. So we're just shifting to like being able to dissolve that, so we don't need to take those on so much. You know, sometimes when you like, maybe you tell somebody something and they're like, oh my God, that's terrible, and you're like, really? Didn't even really think that, but you know, now you say it's terrible, I guess it is terrible. So we don't need to connect to those. And there's another piece of this, linking to lymph. So lymph is the kind of clean out, recycling, garbage system of the body. So I definitely think we're going to have some lymph needed after this. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to tap all this out. So we've got the permission. I accept that my spirit can flow amidst the challenges, linking to the diaphragm with a definition of ups and downs. And then we've got parallel of dissolving the energy dynamic with people's perspectives or judgments around your life, your stuff. And then that's all linking to lymph, cleaning out. So we're going to say the permission together. So I want you to say it out loud. And you're going to put one hand just on your diaphragm. And we're going to tap head and heart. So you're going to say that phrase. I accept that my spirit can flow amidst the challenges. I accept that my spirit can flow amidst the challenges. I accept that my spirit can flow amidst the challenges. I accept that my spirit can flow amidst the challenges. I accept that my spirit can flow amidst the challenges. I accept that my spirit can flow amidst the challenges. Okay. So as I was tapping that out, I definitely got a big smile on my face, because right before this, well, this morning I was finishing my video. I like had this plan to send it out like last night, and didn't happen. It ended up being sent out like 15 minutes before this webinar, and I was like, okay, here's my opportunity to flow amidst the challenges, and just to really to allow that trust, and then from that place we have more power to choose, because then we're not afraid of the like terrible thing that might happen. It's like, okay, well, whatever happens, I can flow with it, so that's good. So I don't need to be afraid of the terrible thing, and now I can be more free to make clearer choices. So I can actually choose to take this action and this action and this action to support my flow even more, rather than trying to take the actions to avoid the things we don't want, which is, again, often we like to do that. So, so how do you feel right now? How are your shoulders feeling? How are your necks feeling? How is your status quo compared to when we started feeling? I'm going to put my sweater back on because it's a little bit chilly, yeah? So it's very important that we take a moment to recheck in our physical bodies, in our minds. Becky says, I feel great, but I feel kind of dizzy. I would just lie down and allow that to process. When your body is processing on a deep level, which this work is, you know, it's deep stuff, the energy is going to deep places. You know, it's like, you know, you only have so much energy in your body. It can't all be everywhere at the same time, which is why you don't want to run a marathon and eat at the same time, because your body can't digest and run. So we're literally directing the energy in the body to healing these deep connections. And that's why sometimes you might feel a little lightheaded or a little tired or a little like, whoa, what's going on? But remember, your body will only do what it's ready to do. And nothing was done to you. Nothing was done to you. Therefore, you can 100% trust that what your body is doing is what it's supposed to and ready to do. Your body is not going to take you into situations you can't handle when we're listening and just getting it to see itself. So just allow the dizziness, keep breathing, drink some water, and Sunday, so you get to rest a bit, I hope. So Lindsay says more range of motion, chest is more open. Good, I feel my brain downloading. Can't type right now. I understand that feeling too. Emily, I feel light and happy, full of joy and possibility. Alison, fluid, more awake. I just got the chills when I read that. Fluid, more awake and present. I feel like I can participate more fully in life today. Yay. And I was feeling a bit out of it before we started. I feel better too. Brenda, I feel like a bowel movement is coming. Yeah, hopefully it can be days between them. Oh, I see. Yeah, well, I'm sure this will help. Definitely that movement and the breath and the diaphragm. Carol, always a beautiful experience to feel my parts of the whole. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Carol. Carla, I feel energetic and concentrated on the here and now. And after all, isn't that why we are here? And that's why we need to keep practicing this and supporting each other in that, because it's very easy to get lost out there. So if I am starting Holy Shift tomorrow. Alison's coming and Emily's coming, and if there's anyone else on here who's already signed up, it's a 4-week program that is basically like this, but 90 minutes twice a week, and it's freaking incredible, amazing, magical, just beyond. If you guys have anything you want to add to that, I would love to. You both look blissed out right now. If you are called, if you're here, I'm sure you're called to some level. If you're called a little more to really see what you can really create over the next 4 weeks, not from a doing place, but from a allowing place, and then being able to take the action with a incredible supportive community, where we're all connected as a group and going through this together individually. Ultimately, it's all about you and yourself and your process and moving to the place you want to be. But at the same time, because of that group connection, and again, there's plenty of science on it, it is so much more powerful when you have a group coming together, focusing together, particularly in real time, and harnessing this information that is so true and real and non-agenda based, non-dogma, non-opinion, just like, let's just connect ourselves to our facts and let's tap into that self-healing ability that we all have. Let's get out of the head drama. Let's stop talking about things. Let's stop trying to do things that our body doesn't want to do, and actually understand it, understand where our energy comes from, understand where our superpowers really are, where we really can connect this vast, incredible intelligence and energy. And let's make a commitment to really move to the next level with this. And there are ups and downs, like everything, and you know, sometimes there's some downs before you go up, but generally, like, the movement is just an upward. It's not even like, it's not a destination, it's just a, like, everything just gets more, what was the word you said? Clear. Yeah, clear and real and fun and beautiful. Yeah, those are my words. I did get your email, Becky, yes, and I will get back to you on that. So Emily says, do it. Yeah, everyone who's done early shifts says, do it. Like this and so much more, everything you need, support and encouragement and insight for you. Yeah, it is really based on you, and again, I don't know anything else out there that offers that. For 4 weeks, so it's consistent enough to make incredible changes over and over again. It is the most amazing thing I've ever been a part of, and something I recommend to everyone. And I have to say the same thing. It's the most amazing thing I've ever done. I'm like, there's no words. I'm just so happy that this is my journey. That I get to do this and create the, like, coolest thing I've ever done, and to support you in creating your coolest things that you ever do, and how we really support each other in that. Alison says, the best self-investment I have made. Yay! And Danica says, I can breathe better all of a sudden. You see, what's more special than that? Being in you and being in the place you want to be in, feeling the feelings you want to feel, and knowing how to move through the challenges in a flowing way so that you can be the person you're here to be, and be her right now, not wait for, 6 months, 10 years, whatever. It's like right now. So the link for Holy Shift, you probably all know if you're on my email list, is, you want to type it in for me, Emily, is laurahamesfranklin.com/Holy Shift. There's a lot more I could say on this, but I've already kept you 15 minutes, more than I promised to. But before we go, there is another webinar tonight if you want to come join. Again, it will be different. They're always different. They're always really nice. And there's always something for you in it, because I always connect to you. It's happening again at 7:30, and if you can invite your friends, please do. Invite your friends, come join us. Yes, scholarship video, get your scholarship video up. We're going to be making a decision. Deadline is 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and Holy Shift starts tomorrow. Oh, and it runs 2:30, you get time option of 2:30 and 7:30. 2:30 and 7:30, so you can choose. If you have questions, all the details are on that page. If you have questions, I'll stick around for a little bit because I haven't really given you. Yay, cool, Alison. I haven't really given you all of the detailed stuff, but it's on that page. But I'll be here if you want to ask me questions about logistics and stuff. I also have a payment plan, and we have a scholarship contest. If you don't know where that is, type it in the chat box right now, but I'm guessing you probably do. And please post your testimonials on my Facebook wall so that it helps spread the word. And thank you so much for being here and being you. I'm excited to see what we're all going to create in this next shift. Oh, so enjoy. Have a beautiful Sunday. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I couldn't do this without you. I mean, I could. I would be filling my clavicles and stuff, but it's much more fun doing it with others as well. So I'm really thankful that I get to share this because then I get to experience it more. Hey, Brenda. Wonderful. Keep enjoying your new experience. See if you can stay in it. Keep coming back to it. Keep practicing it. You've got like a zillion and one tools that you can use for the rest of your life in this hour. So remember them. Keep practicing them. And obviously I'll keep piling out as many videos as I can manage to do. I'm always going, oh, another video. Yeah, it's fun. It's an experience. Anyway, have a fun day. I'll see you later if you come in. And if you have a question, type it now. Or else I'm going to go eat lunch. Bye.